Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Creating the Crafty Life's Creative Weekly Wisdom. So today we're going to be doing a inking resist technique with some embossing powder and some of our distress inks. And I've seen this called like the black magic technique. I don't know. I saw it and I thought it was really cool and wanted to share it with you guys. So as you can see, like, it has a really cool almost watercolor effect that looks like it was done on black cardstock, but it was actually done on white. It's not so white anymore, but it was done on white. So let's get into this. So a few things that you're going to need, and you can do this on just your regular cardstock, and you can use other inks. So it doesn't necessarily have to be distress inks, but as we know, distress inks, they blend so beautifully, but the blending doesn't have to be anything super special. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two distress inks, and I'm using Wilted Violet and Peacock Feathers, and I'm just going to blend this background. The cardstock is I'm using is just the 65-pound white cardstock from Recollections, and it is just slightly smaller than an A2 size card, so it's just under 5.5 by 4.25. I think it's like 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 or something, or 5/8, something like that. So pretty much like you're just gonna ink it like you would like a normal background. However, like it doesn't have to like be like super beautiful. So I'm just gonna put some color down wherever. So I am going to be done with those, so we'll just set those off to the side. So I'm pretty happy with this. It doesn't have to be, like I said, super perfect, but let's go ahead and hit it with some heat and dry it so that our embossing powder doesn't stick to the things that we don't want it to. So it's pretty warm, but I want to test this. So I just have a piece of my printer paper right here, and I'm just going to take some of my embossing powder and just sprinkle it on top and just see. And it's pretty good, but it's not quite there. I can still see some spots. So we're going to hit it again with just a little more heat. But just hit it with the embossing buddy. Just give it a nice powder coat. We should be good. Okay. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stamp that I've selected and my Versamark ink, and we're just going to start inking this up. Now I'm making this into a background because that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to ink it up, and let's go ahead and we'll start here. That's good. And then I'm going to do a little bit right here. And I think I'm going to do one more right there. Now with that done, I'm going to add my clear embossing powder. I'm going to cover up my ink pad so I don't get that all grainy. And we're just going to sprinkle it on across, get it all. My embossing powder is a little bit running out, but I have had this for years, so I will soon need to invest in another bottle, but I literally got this when I first started crafting, so I've had it for like 10 years now, I think, or more. So we're gonna go with that. Okay. And now there's like something right there. Okay. Now go ahead and just start heating that. And it's already heated up because I just dried that background. The way this comes out. I'm going to actually bring it up to the camera just a little bit, but look at how cool that is. Now, I want to make sure that this cools down a little bit before I start inking it. Oops, I'm going to keep this right here. Just we're going to cool it down. And this is where it gets messy, okay? So the ink, you can use pretty much any ink pad. You're gonna have to wait for it to dry though, okay? Because if you don't wait for it to dry once you do this step, what's gonna happen is you're gonna remelt your embossing powder and then you run the risk of smudging everything. So I'm going to use my favorite things, the black licorice ink, but you could use Memento. I did try that on one of these, but I didn't feel it was quite as dark. The Versa, what is it? The Versafine, this one, Versafine, would probably be a really good one, but the dry time on it is going to be quite substantial. So the next thing you're going to do is, I usually just take a paper towel and I kind of protect my fingers because it's very inky. I just take my pad, and you can use a blending, you could use your blender or whatever, but I find that this just is fast and gets it done really quickly. But you just take it and you just rub your pad over it just like this, and you see how it's kind of like everything is getting covered. Put my, there we go, we just rub, and see, I've popped it up where it got on me. Okay, all right. I have thoroughly saturated this cardstock, and now I've covered up everything, but here is where the magic is going to happen. So now, because the embossing powder is slick, we're just going to take a paper towel and we're just going to buff off the extra. We're just going to buff everything off of our embossing powder. And I do kind of fold it over a little bit and sometimes get a little bit of a clean area of the paper towel, but it just, there we go. And now it looks like we did this on black cardstock when we know that it was actually on white. So there is the black magic resist, and you can do this in any color, you can do this in any combination. You could probably even try other dark colors, like a navy or like a dark brown maybe would work with this, but There we go. So thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Creating the Crafty Lives, Creative Weekly Wisdom. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I would love to see what you guys create as well. Thanks, and have a good night.